know, pretty much everybody is, watching football, but I'm outside, my crusty lips, um, draining my water tank heaters, and I just had a thought really quickly, and I was thinking about how much people actually spent during this holiday season and how much money people are still going to spend on a pandemic for New Year's Eve, buying drinks, maybe even still renting out or leasing out a venue to hold some sort of extravagant party, regardless of the pandemic, because people are trying to get back to some sort of normalcy. But I really want you to factor in something. I really want you to factor in this, ladies and gentlemen. How much did you spend from October all the way up until December 1st? That's what I really want you guys to factor out because during this time, there's a lot of uncertainty. People are talking about the government shutting down. People still talking about there's another wave. As you guys have not been aware, supposedly there's another strain of the coronavirus in the UK, and they are restricting travel from the UK to America. And I believe they're saying something on the lines of before you leave the UK, you have to have a COVID 19 test. Then when you come over to here, you got to have a COVID 19 test. Good afternoon, Ashley Hawkins, as well as Jay Lovett. Or Jay Love, my bad. Um, I was thinking about this because a buddy of mine on his Instagram had put out a similar video. It kind of made me think, he spent $300 and I spent $300. And most of my $300 was on um, building our son a new bedroom. He wanted a new mattress, new bedroom frame. Like, he's a very unusual 9-year old, right? He just wanted a new bedroom, right? His bed fine, but he had a small TV, had a small little entertainment, but we got him, a bigger set in his room. So now he has like a 43-inch TV in there, smart TV, a new entertainment system, new bed, new mattress. But altogether, we both spent about $300. And me and my lady, we bought each other very small gifts because they're like, hey, listen, we already have the essentials of life of what we, need and most likely what we want. And it amazes me, even though some of us still have money coming in from our jobs, maybe we're living off some sort of disability or retirement, or we dug into our 401ks, people were still going out and buying $1,000 PlayStation, where we know the retail price of a PlayStation is only like $500 for the one with the hard disk, and then $400 the one that is digital. But it amazes me that with that sort of mind frame of spending your money instead of investing your money, and I don't just mean the individual stocks and ETFs and bonds, but investing your money in your own health, in your own self being. Like, I'm getting ready for this fast, and it's similar to like a Dr. Sabi's fast. We're going to be taking all types of, herbs and stuff to flush out our systems, and sarsaparilla and yellow duck flower, and we've done it before. I've done it before, and you'd be amazed at a lot of things that come out your body. But we spent a small grip on that, but it's for our health. And I wonder how much did you spend on materialistic things for either yourself or people who really just don't even care, that much even about you. But you spend that sort of money during a great time like this. We still have, I just had a buddy of mine, a neighbor of mine, going to hospital on Tuesday. He's out now from COVID 19. So, I know the whole thing about COVID 19 is fake, it's a conspiracy, but we know that this thing is real now. We also know that there have been um, a lot of talks in the government about what they should do, right? So you have Moderna, and you also have what's the other one? What's the other one? Moderna and Pfizer, and they made both vaccines. Now they didn't share information. Okay, they didn't share information. So now we're taking this vaccine, and now we're seeing a lot of people have side effects. Ladies and gentlemen, I have not been telling you this since talk of a vaccine. being 90% approved. Okay. I told you this. So some of the things I've been telling people that I spend my money on during this holiday season, other than essentially individual gifts, has been, you know, herbs and also vitamins like vitamin D, potassium, cell salts. If you guys never heard of cell salts, look that up. What else? See, vitamin D, zinc, magnesium, echinacea, and a multivitamin. And so, like I said, we're gonna go on this cleanse, and I saw you out there, J Love. I will keep you guys updated on my cleanse to give you that information. But this is a great time to reflect. Me personally, I don't really celebrate Christmas because if you know the history of Christmas, then you probably wouldn't celebrate it either. Even if you're a Christian, you probably wouldn't celebrate it either. Oh, back in 1966, forgot the guy, the doctor's name, right? Forgot the doctor's name, but he was talking about he created in 1966. He created Kwanzaa, right? Uh, I know it's seven principles of Kwanzaa, and Kwanzaa actually the time frame is from December 26th to January 1st. And the first one is the first principle of Kwanzaa is umoji, because it's Swahili for unity. This is based upon Swahili, and if you know guys about Swahili, you got people like Malema down in South Africa and other African presidents and very prominent people on the African continent want to make the language of Africa Swahili. So they want a unified, universal language that they all can speak in Africa. But that's neither here nor there. But when you really factor in the amount of money that you spend on your kids, your family members, I want you to date back and think if something occurs that you're going to need a large sum of cash, did you put those things on credit? Did you cash out your stocks? Did you cash in your investments? Did you sell property to get this money? It just makes me think because I come from a very poor family. And when I mean poor, I tell people my history on my channel as far as me being homeless when I was a young kid with my mom. Numerous of stories of us walking miles for food, like we in some sort of third world country. And now they're talking about in order for you to travel, this is the first stage, okay? This is the first stage. The first stage is now before you travel to certain countries, you have to take a COVID-19 test within 3 days of your travel, okay? They're pushing people to take this vaccine. Now, with all these side effects, hopefully they're changing their procedures and their guidelines and regulations, but I haven't seen nothing official yet. And let's sprinkle a little bit of the COVID-19 relief bill on this. Now, you guys saw my previous video now was inside of the omnibus spending bill that was attached to the COVID-19 relief bill. See, the COVID-19 relief bill, okay, and this is the truth as I know it, that from the 2.2 trillion from the CARES Act, the first initial COVID-19 relief bill, there was 900 billion, not a million, billion floating around because there was still a number of Americans who did not receive their first stimulus check. I had people hitting me up and I'm telling them the proper procedures that, that I researched, contacting the IRS, but, the IRS was overwhelmed. We know that this is a broken system. But nonetheless, and they come up and say, okay, well, 908 billion for the second stimulus, and each individual person will get $600, and up to three dependents will get $600. So they're literally cutting the amount of relief in half. And I think unemployment is 300, and we haven't really heard any talks about the extension of eviction moratoriums, as well as the PPP program from small businesses and things of that nature. So with this new bill, we understand like countries like Sudan getting 700 million. I think Cambodians getting 85.5 million. The Smithsonian domestic fund is getting $1 billion. Asia RIA, which includes If I'm not mistaken, it's India, Malaysia. There's another country in there as well that's getting $1 billion. They're going to spread that accordingly, but we're still giving other countries money from our country as we are accumulating debt each and every day. We're probably up to 28 trillion. I haven't looked at it lately, but instead of giving that money to the Americans, we're still doing special interests to other countries that we have a stake in or investments in to kind of sweeten the pot for us to continue to get some sort of resources or import export sort of incentives, things down. And I'm looking at this country where some areas are doing well. Some businesses are doing absolutely well, while other businesses have been tumbled, have went out of business, have filed for bankruptcy, people out of jobs, people worried about when the next meal is coming in. I'm like, $600. You wait 9 months. But then I come back full circle. And I say, how much money did you spend during this pandemic? Because it's easy to point the finger at the government. It's easy, right? Because the government is this large entity that we can name a couple of people. We can say Chuck Schumer, and we can say Steve Mnuchin, and we can say Nancy Pelosi, and we can say Donald Trump and Mike Pence and Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. We can just name all these politicians because this is the government, is Congress and senators as well, right? Because they have to vote on these things. So our government is large. Okay, we have 100 senators, we have hundreds of congressmen, we have so many representatives and councilmen, especially when you pass the governor level from your state. Everything pretty much after that is federal, because you got in states, you got the mayors, and you got the councilmen, and you got the aldermans, and right, you got all of these different echelons of government, and it's easy to point your finger at the government. But I live near a outlet mall, and you would be amazed the amount of traffic and people I've seen now spending money. And I'm not judging those people because they might have jobs they can do at home. They may have money saved up. They're still living their lives. But you wouldn't think that there was a pandemic in Texas. And I only can speak for Texas in my area, which is the Dallas suburbs. But Michigan on my business trip, it was a total different scene. Michigan is taking this virus very, very seriously. And I'm not saying that Texas isn't, but Texas is it's a lot more freedom. Just wear a mask. They got the little 6 feet, but literally other states are shutting down their economy. People are hurting and they're shutting down their economy. And some people say, what's your take on this? Should they shut down their economy? Should they open up their economy? I'm just a random dude on the internet giving out information. But here's my perspective. This, believe it or not, even if the coronavirus has hit your family, there's been a small percentage of Americans who have been affected by the coronavirus. I mean, like terminally ill and who have died, in large comparison with the flu. And this is unlike the flu. We know it's more highly contagious. This is more serious than the flu. I understand that. But in my opinion, we should not shut down economies, local economies, state economies, and of course the federal economy. Because first and foremost, we understand that America is not a country. This is a corporation. Just look it up for yourself. I did a video on it. You can watch that as well, how I break it down. But anytime a corporation does not do business, what does a corporation do? What happened at Pier 1? Right. I'm gonna be walking around, guys, because I'm doing some work on my house here. But um, Pier 1 went out of business. And then I'm hearing all this news, and I keep telling people this too. I haven't really said this. If you're FBA, if you're B1, if you're foundational Black American, then it probably behooves you to move to a state where there's a large population of Black people. I continue to see our people get killed and tortured and intimidated by race soldiers. Okay, intimidated by race soldiers. And the reason why this is important to money is because when you have a large group of black people who support themselves and buy black owned businesses, you can create your own economy instead of depending on monetary things. And that's the issue that we have in the black community, that this word stunting or flossing or shining or on fleek, I don't know, right? The words change every time a new rap song come out. And we're wearing all these expensive clothes, buying all these expensive cars, and these cars, are liabilities, not assets. And essentially, home, believe it or not, and I broke this down as well, is a liability until you pay it off. Even though you're building equity, you essentially is a liability until you have somebody to pay it or you pay it off and it starts to build up equity. But what's most important is this: how are you how are you hedging or ensuring your own personal well-being when it comes to your finances? I used to when I used to date, and women would tell me that it's not all about money. I used to kind of like do something like this, like, what do you mean it's not all about money? They said, well, it's not all about money. It's this type of that. I said, but you need money to survive. And nobody wants just enough money to survive, because you're literally going to put yourself in a black hole if you're thinking, I just need enough money to survive. And when I think about all the years I spent in an apartment and renting and paying somebody else's bills, that this is probably one of the best investments, even though it's a liability up until the time you still building equity, right? Until the equity is actually worth more than the actual home. But other than that, it's an investment that you can actually, even if you didn't buy any additional properties, if you lived in your home at least 3 to 5 years, most likely on the 5 year side, and you did some small upgrades like I did. I painted the walls, I epoxied the floor, stuff like that. I'm thinking about getting a patio. I'm not trying to spend too much on a patio. There's things to increase the value of your home. But then when I look out and I look at all the shops and the outlets and all these people spending all this money, and I'm like, wow, during a pandemic, during a pandemic, during a pandemic. Now, some of the money I spent during this year, um, I'm not gonna lie, I spent a lot of money this year, buying a new home, buying things for the new home. Make sure myself is comfortable. You know, but one thing I would like to point out is that, in a sense, I prepared for a pandemic. Ain't no one expects like there's gonna be a pandemic in 2020. No one expected that. But I was already semi prepared because I did the right things by my finances. And it's just a mind frame that you need to have. The first mindset is, what do I need? Okay, what do I need versus what do I have? And that's the issue that I see that a lot of us get into. We think that we need materialistic things and we absolutely don't. I'm not saying look like no bum, but I tell people I go to the Gap. Gap got some nice clothes. They're pretty cheap. They're not the you ain't see nobody who with real money wearing the Gap, but Gap got good clothes. But here's the thing. I told you this next year, my household, we're going to do what you call extreme spending. And come January 1st, January 2nd, I'm going to put out a video. And I want some of you to really join that video and make the pledge to start saving like I will be saving. Like this year we ate out, pretty much. We cook a lot, but we're talking about the next 6 months. We're going to try to refrain from eating out. This is going to be hard because there's sometimes in your normal life you're going out, you're doing certain activities like, oh, I need something to eat. But we're going to try to plan accordingly. But we're going to do extreme savings for at least 6 months. There's other options out there, and I know that a lot of people that I listen to, um, a lot of people that I like to support, like Dr. Boyce Watkins, he said something very interesting. Was it today or the other day about make sure someone asks them, say, hey, what if America becomes too volatile for us to actually live in? He said, where would you go? And Dr. Boyce Watkins said, you should go somewhere like the Caribbean or Africa where there's a large population of black people. And I agree. I agree with that. That's kind of a different notion that Tariq Nasheed and Professor Black Truth, as well as the Black Authority, speaks about. But I know Philip Scott also exercises this idea about visiting the continent and going different places, which I agree. I agree. You should essentially want to visit Africa because we get so overwhelmed with our money that the first thing that we think about going traveling overseas, other than the Bahamas, right? Because it's simply beautiful, it is. But we talk about, oh, I want to go to Rome, I want to go to Italy, I want to, because Europeans have really projected this image of serenity and paradise over there. Whereas though, if you really want to think about it, why did they colonize Africa? Why are they still trying to invade? Why is China still trying to invade Africa? This is because that Africa is a very beautiful place. If you look at these countries, they built up just like New York. These countries have, a lot of these countries in Africa have well stable economies. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Your money in Africa, whether it be Ghana, Togo, Benin, Malawi, Senegal, Nigeria, if you go to East Africa, Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, Uganda, Botswana, down in South Africa, or South Africa, your money not only doubles, it triples, quadruples. I did this. I forgot what country it was. I want to say it was Rwanda. I said, what if you had $30,000 USD and you went over to Rwanda, right? Do you know that you'll be a millionaire if you took $30,000 to Rwanda? And then some of you are like, oh yeah, but it's the slums over there. I want you guys to go look at the cities in a lot of these African countries, okay? And you will see that a lot of these countries, with just a little bit of money, money from your 401k, money from your retirement account, that you essentially be a millionaire. But we understand. I know that a lot of our families are here. We don't want to leave our families and friends. And I got that, right? Because again, I told you guys my plan in 5 to 8 years. I actually plan on us moving to Africa, maybe for a year. We may visit a couple of African countries because we really want to exercise our right to leave this country and see what else is out there. And I'm not saying we're going to permanently live in Africa. I don't know. But think about it like this. How long would you have to work in this country and retire and actually have the ability and the financial stability to never work again as you get older, not your family, but actually hire people to take care of you while going to a nursing home, feed yourself without getting a second job? I want you guys to think about that. What would you have to do to bring in at least $5,000 a month? $5,000 a month. So $5,000 a month for years, what, 60K? Right, 60K. That's most money. Like some of you probably could live off $4,000, but let's just say $5,000 only 60K a year. Excuse me, and you was by yourself. How are you going to bring in $5,000 a month? And a lot of you are probably right now computing where, I have my retirement, I have investments. But say if your investment, say if there's another recession, there's another depression, how are you spending your money right now? Now, on the investment side of things, let me move there really quickly because I saw Bitcoin. They went up almost $1,000 in a night. Last night, I think it was at 26.6, and then I woke up today, it was like 27.7. So again, I tell everyone, make sure that you're investing, month by month in Bitcoin. Some people are projecting it to go to 50 to 60K, and somebody says something as large as 200K per Bitcoin. I don't, I've done a lot of research on Bitcoin, and some of it I still don't understand. But the more I understand, the more it helps me to be a well-educated investor and make money off it, right? But how much did you spend during this holiday season? From October to now, how much did you spend? Other than the essentials of your home, other than the essentials of your home, like groceries, utilities, mortgage, rent, etc. How are you spending your money? Let me tell you this. Why do we lie about it? Right? You know why we lie about, oh man, I ain't really spending that much money. Yes, you did. You know who you are. Because I spent a lot of money and I shouldn't have. And, a lot of times it's kind of like, I do this a lot. I'm just giving you my faults because I'm not perfect. You know how, like, I'm going to eat this rib sandwich because January 1st, I'm going on a diet. It's the same thing. I was spending money like, hey, come January 1st, I'm going to create a budget and do extreme savings. Like, no, you can start right now. You don't have to wait to January 1st. You don't have to wait to January 31st. On tidings we bring for new year. You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait. There's a lot of hot stocks out there I've been giving all year. Some of my videos has been getting a lot of views because of the popular stocks. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this video right now, we did be Neo and Plug Power, which two of the stocks I'm really loving right now. But there's these other stocks out there that I put on my channel. And, I'm not trying to increase my views, but it's good information that you are aware of these other stocks for you can also diversify your investments. Okay. So I've been ignoring you guys for a minute. I know there's a lot of things. Let me look at this. Ashley Hawkins, she said no extra money, just spend on essentials. Jay Lovett says, I would like to send you a very important video about the vaccine. Go ahead and send that to my email, brother. He said, can you give us more information about the fast? I'd like to purchase some of the products. I want to start one soon as well. I'll make sure I put together a list and I put that onto my channel. I heard there's a daily virus. Yeah, there's another strain of the virus in the UK. So they're restricting travel to that. We see. Thank you, Ash, no problem. Smoke tobacco in ages. I just smoke a cigar every once and again. I thought everything was canceled. Everything is not canceled. Not in Texas. Not in Texas. Okay, I can tell you that right now. Yeah, Texas is popping. It may be popping with the coronavirus, but it's popping people out doing about their everyday lives. They're just wearing a mask, and no one's really social distancing, from what I can tell, but they are wearing their masks. Jermaine Anderson says, we as the people B1 need to learn more money. We do. We do. We understand that there is this new, well, it's not new, but Tariq Nasheed and a few other people part of the B1 Brigade, the new black media, we are essentially developing a term of foundational black Americans. And Tariq and those guys can explain it more than I. I try to stay in my lane. Every now and again, I'll put my foot out for it to be stepped on because these are very interesting topics, okay? Ashley says the pandemic and people are buying gifts. Of course they are. Leave is not going to stop the problem. It's not. It's not going to stop the mindset. The question is, how are you spending your money? He said, that's the question. How are you spending your money? Very, very frivolously, very stupidly. Okay. Um, but I will say this: I did plan to spend this amount of money. When I bought my new house, I said I'm gonna spend at least $20,000 making home, buying furniture, etc. JF says something about plug power. Until I did not wake up until I retired in the next few years. Okay. And JF says, Ross, what's your thoughts on fuel cell energy? JF, if you go on my channel, I think I did 2 videos on fuel cell energy. I also exercised an option, but it actually expired out of the money. I didn't make any money off that fuel cell energy, but fuel cell energy is kind of in the same space as plug power, but you have to be very cognizant of their analytics and certain indicators, whether you're going to buy options or you're going to buy individual stocks. So you just have to be aware of that. But I do have videos talking about that as well. John Cox says, I spent zero extra money. I had to buy gas because I traveled out of state to visit the grandkids. Oh, yeah. I mean, come on. I'm never going against spending money visiting family. And I spent what was it? I think a grand going up to Michigan on a business trip, and the business trip for me wasn't like, oh, I'm going up here to acquire property. No, I went up there with one of my friends who has over 40 properties, and he was teaching me the business, not just over Zoom or over some sort of live stream platform, but right beside him, every call he put on speakerphone, every home we went in and walked through, and we had contractors everywhere. He buys these properties, these distressed properties, these properties who need to be rehabbed a little bit, then he builds them up and he rents them out. He doesn't sell any of his property. I'm thinking about going to see my buddy in New York. The buddy here, he lives in Houston, but his properties are located in Michigan because that's where he's from. But I'm thinking about going up to New York and shadow another buddy of mine who's a millionaire investor of flipping properties. Flipping properties, both of these guys are on different sides of the spectrum. One likes to flip, the other one likes to buy, hold, and rent. And both of them can be profitable, but I'm leaning more to buy, hold, and rent. Okay, because not only does he just have properties, he also has lots of lands that he's thinking about building fresh duplexes on. So I asked him, say, hey man, we got all these properties, and he bought all of his houses in clusters. So take for instance my neighborhood. Let me turn this around really quickly. So this is my neighborhood, right? It looked like freaking the Andy Griffin show out here, right? So that's my neighborhood. And what he's doing is buying all these clusters because eventually he wants to become a developer. And when you develop a neighborhood, he said, yeah, I want to develop my own neighborhood. But he said, first, I want to build some duplexes. Then from duplexes, the amount of money he wants to take a large plot of land, like maybe, 100 to 200 acres, and he wants to develop his own neighborhood. And I never really thought about that. But he said, to get to that point of development, guess how you start? He said, first, you got to have, the drive, the motivation, the passion. If you don't have that, just don't do it because you're going to give up. Once you have that, because that includes your mindset, then acquire one property. Acquire one property, buy one property, then buy another property, then buy another. But buy them at the right time. Don't just go out buying a bunch of properties. Make sure it's following the strategy, right? Because he essentially told me his strategy, taught me his strategy numerous of times. And I wrote it down, but a lot of times I like to ask him questions about it. And, he told me he'll guide me through the first two purchases. But that's why that business trip was important. Because some people are like, you on a business trip, but you didn't do any business. I went on a business trip to learn. Because sometimes you need to learn if you want to do something or if you don't want to do something. Okay. Let's see here. We got wins on here. He said the question is, what do you value? My value has changed over the years. It's very inspiring to see your growth. Well, thank you. I appreciate that, brother. Go get it. After bills, I had 2K left this month to savings. That's a nice Corvette. Sorry about that. 500 to savings and 450 to those who needed money and $50 on Sun for holiday. The rest will stay in checking. Government furloughs. Yeah. Emergency fund. Because again, the name of this video is how much did you spend? Where's your emergency fund at? And you're gonna see me walking around, guys. I'm purging my water tanks, so there's no sediment left in them. But do you guys have built up emergency funds? Now, some of you may be at the end of your emergency funds because of this damn pandemic, and we, already covered the COVID-19 and the things that the government's doing with this new stimulus bill. But, ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you this right now: if you would have did right by your finances, you should be right at the point where you need that, right? Because the old notion of, hey, 6 months, 6 months should be enough of an emergency fund to get you through if you lost your job or did something like it's going to be now. The new term is going to be what? A year. I got to do it again. It's going to be a year, right? because this pandemic has changed a lot of things. Guess what? A lot of people found out, and I like, and this is a Michael Jackson song he was talking about. He was saying how the government really doesn't care about us. Y'all remember that song? He said, "Kick me, bite me, something." Right? I don't know the words, but he's like, they don't really care about us. Okay, you have to take care of yourself in this economy, and I give this information on my channel because I believe it's vital for your life. A lot of people do a lot of things for their kids, right? They do a lot of things for their kids. I want, even though there's a pandemic, I want my kids to have the best. Well, your kids may have the best, but when the smoke clears, are you going to have a house for your kids to live in? Here's another thing. This is probably a good time to refinance your home. I'm going through a refinance right now. I'm right at the limit where I can refinance, and I'm changing my interest rate from 3.25 to 2.25. That's kind of my thing. Like, if you're not going down 1% or more, don't eat. It's not even worth it. Okay, it's not even worth it for you to do that. Let me move on here. I got some other stuff. Some Davon Daniel said I started a auto dealership. Wow, that is awesome. I'm gonna tell you, man. People always need cars, and people always need somewhere to live, and healthcare, right? And food, and well, there's a lot of other things. He says emergency fund. I'm in a money market account. I have 9 months of living expenses saved so far. That's tremendous. That's really good. That's really good. Okay. Born Majesty says the neighborhood you live in looks really nice. Well, thank you. Thank you. Believe me, I worked hard to live in a neighborhood like this. And believe me, I'm not a brother that just went out and looked for the whitest neighborhood I could find. I can tell you right now, on my block alone, there's one, two, three, four, five. Like, if you can count it, ain't that many, right? But it's five black families that live on this block. Okay. So this is a, what you call a mixed neighborhood, and I didn't really pick it out. My lady did. I'm unfamiliar with this area, but I like it. It's nice. He says, "Hey man, you have a beautiful home." Well, thank you, K Dub. I appreciate that. I think that's my brother. I always forget his name on here. That's my y'all. He's on here as well as one of my army buddies. Wins on here. He said, "Thanks, Mo." He said, "Q Life are both now licensed auto dealers." And I'll tell you something else I'm doing right now. I just got my notary for Texas, and I just got the notary so I can be a loan signing agent because I'm trying to figure out other hustles. Right? You need multiple hustles because some of you guys have expensive tastes. It's okay. It's okay that you have expensive taste, but you got to feed the beast. Right? You got to have multiple hustles. Like my buddy with the 40 properties, he has expensive taste, right? You look at his shoes, you look at his suits, you look at his cigars. He has expensive taste, but but he is very financially intelligent. He is very savvy with his finances to where he knows how much coming in, how much coming out, how much got paying taxes, and he has a fund or he budgets or he does all these things with his finances. Because I'm looking into his CPA firm tomorrow, because I took some losses this year when it came to business. My business when I really started my, LLC and all of the amount of money that I need to start up my business, like with websites and materials, domain names and all this other stuff that you have to pay for. Your first 3 years of claiming your business on your taxes, you can claim it as a loss because most likely most businesses their first, second year, you're going to be at a loss. Okay, you're going to spit more money out than you have coming in. Okay. Mo Giddy says, "Are you a mobile notary?" Yes, I am. I'm a mobile notary, but I'm not going to even exercise the right. I'm not going to exercise my mobile notary rights or authority to go stamp people's notary like $5 or $6. No, the money, in my opinion, when it comes to being a mobile notary, is being a loan signing agent, right? Because once you learn the business of loan signing agents, then you can be an entrepreneur and create your own loan signing agent business. But essentially, just like being a real estate agent, you should probably work under a firm or broker for about a year, because they that's some of the state requirements in order for you to learn it. But when it comes to mobile notaries, most states don't even require you to take a test. But I took this quiz online. I think it was with the American Association of Notaries, and I think there's a National Association of Notaries as well that you can take for your particular state. But if you look up the salaries of a loan signing agent, it goes anywhere from 35 to $100,000. So essentially, if you are, have a full-time job, this can be a part-time job, and you can do this either after work or on the weekend. So that can be more discretionary cash you have coming in to what? Invest in, increase your emergency fund, take a vacation. Again, because some of you, whether you like it or not, you guys have expensive tastes, or there's things you want to do, or there's places you want to go. And some of you like, oh well, I don't want to come home and work and work. That's why side hustles are a great thing, because a side hustle is something that you can pick up and put down. But sometimes side hustles are really good because they can become into your full-time business and make you some really, really good money. Okay, I think I'm gonna do this one more time. But I just wanted to ask you guys that question of how much you guys spent this year, um, because it's imperative that we really, fireproof our finances when it comes to um, this pandemic and other situations that may occur in your life, or death in your family. Do you guys set yourselves up for other family members? All right, give me 1 second here, guys. Turning the wrench up. All right, because I saw somebody had a question out there. I think they asked me essentially, how did I get my clients? Well, I'm gonna tell you this. I have a good buddy on another channel, and some of you guys know him. His name is Stephen Gardner. Now, when I met Stephen Gardner, this is funny, right? When Gardner, okay, he's a published author, really good guy. We met in person when I was traveling through Utah. See, when I met Stephen Gardner had 200 subscribers. And I actually coached him how to get his channel up, right? Because we developed a relationship. I coached him how to get his channel up. He's up to 800,000 subscribers. And he said, man, he said, this is crazy. He said, why you don't have that many subscribers? He is a Christian. People who know me, I really don't talk about religion. It's not a religious channel. He's a financial enthusiast as well, but he gives stimulus updates, and I think the stimulus update caught fire for him because he has all sorts of subscribers. So a lot of people um, he has sent over to me for rossworldfinancial.com. That's rossworldfinancial.com. In order for me to help them to get out of debt, to raise a credit score, to build an emergency savings plan, to learn how to invest. Um, and my thing is, I try to do everything in finance except one thing: taxes. I don't mess with it. People are like, oh, what about you need to be, I think, in order to get the most out of taxes, you need to go deal with a CPA. A lot of you who might have an investment account, a retirement account, a regular paycheck coming in, if you got a few things going on in your finances, don't go to H&R Block. Don't go to Jackson Hewitt. Don't do TaxWise. Don't do TurboTax. Go to a real CPA. Pay the money so the IRS don't come and take your home later on in life. Pay your money to these people, $500 to do your taxes, so you can actually get a real return. So you don't have to pay taxes. You don't have to be audited. All your ducks are in a row. But the problem is a lot of people don't want to pay these people for their expertise. See, that's the thing. We continue to want things for free. You have to pay for expertise. When people come to me, I walk them through each and everything. Okay? I walk them through each and everything so they walk away with not only the knowledge, but you start seeing the benefits in your bank account. So that's the same thing with taxes. If you just have a house, just work a job, you don't really have any investments or nothing like that, then yeah, just go ahead and use TurboTax. But if you have a lot of things, little things going on, it may not bring in that much money. You might want to look into having a real CPA go over your stuff. Okay? Let's see here. He said, "How do you get clients here?" So I get clients from my buddy. Also, I advertise do what they call Google AdSense. Google AdSense. So when people are looking for financial advisors, I pop up through there. And I always got all these other people trying to what you call I forgot market can help build your website. Like, nah, I'm good, man. I'm not trying to put out too much money right now. See, Mogita says, yes, if you look at Meet Kevin channel, he is making hundreds of thousands for stimulus updates. Yeah. So there's a couple of websites out there. I think that there's a guy named Yates. I think he's another melanated brother. And then you have Meet Kevin, you have Clear Tax Value, and you have Stephen Gardner. These are some of the big name of stimulus um, package updates. And I can't really account for Meet Kevin or Clear Value Tax. I really haven't looked at a lot of their videos. I looked at maybe one or two. But since me and Steven, we have a really good friendship. I looked at quite a bit of his. And yeah, they give you actual, he gives you actual updates. But, and I know he may see this video and take it with a grain of salt, but the information is not valuable for your life. He's breaking down the information and updates that they're giving you, but it's all poppycock. It's malarkey. It's bullshit. You know, not the information he's giving because he's going on all these government websites, gathering up all this information for content for his channel that is good information. But the information that's from the politicians, in my opinion, are the bull crap. And they tune in and they want to hear it and they hang on to the information that's being presented before them. And hey, when it comes to my channel, ladies and gentlemen, I know why I don't have 50,000 subscribers. People don't want truthful information. I'm going to say it again. People don't want truthful information. They want that information that makes them feel good. In some instances, I learned this from my brother, people want actual information, but they don't want the truth because facts are essentially what people see to be true, but may not be the truth. See, what I try to do is give you very truthful information, not only about finances, but also the psychology behind finances. Because some of you are like, oh, the only thing I need to do is this. No, the first thing you need to do is need to fix yourself the way you look at things. Then you need to come into your finances and start to fix things. It's kind of like this: when we um, um, when we correct our son, when we discipline our son, the one thing we don't do it angry. We may be a little frustrated, a little bit upset, but we don't discipline him angry. We wait till we calm down and we make sure that whatever restriction we're giving him most likely fits the offense so he understands. And sometimes he'll do something like, hey, listen, this is what you did. This is why you shouldn't do it. Don't do it again because if you do it again, this is going to happen. And then we let him go play, right? Everything doesn't require punishment or restriction or butt whipping, okay, or yell at. So some things just need to have a candid conversation, and they're kids. So a lot of people are emotional in their finances, in their investments, in the way they spend. Well, my kid's been through so much this year, so I'm gonna buy them 3 PlayStation 5s. You see, that's what I call my fat face. That's my fat face. Um, let's see here. D Nice says they want the hope information. Yeah, I value your channel because you keep it real, plain and cut. I can go down to my own wish and go from there. Thank you. I appreciate that. That came from Mo Get It. And Win says, or people don't want to be uncomfortable. Truth makes people feel uncomfortable. I'd rather be uncomfortable now than prosper later. Well, thank you, my brother. And that's exactly, essentially where I'm at. That's why my channel, it'll grow. I mean, I believe that my channel will grow, but it will grow slow because people, they want that feel. They want that Joel Osteen. People want that Joel Osteen. They want that good prosperity speech. And I'm not going to give you that. First thing I'm going to tell you is, you know who messed up? You are. People don't want to hear that. Every now and again I'll go off on the government, and that's what people want to hear. But I don't do it because of that. It's because I just give you factual information about the government. Okay, but a lot of these things start with you. A lot of these things start with you. A lot of these things start with us. And I'll tell you this: in the black community, man, whether you celebrate Christmas, Kwanzaa, I mean, it speaks for itself. We need unity. We need unity. We also need what's that other one? Kuji self-discipline. We need that as well. We let a lot of things in our community distract us, don't we? We let a lot of things in our community distract us. We let politics distract us. We let coons and sambos distract us. We let family distract us. We let our kids distract us from our goals, and we make excuses. Man, we got an excuse for every damn thing. Well, why didn't you put? Why did you go out and spend $400 on Jordans, knowing that you had a $400 electric bill? Well, shit, these were the retro ones. Man, they only come out three times, a year. All of our interests, all of our value is in materialistic things. Again, ladies and gentlemen, money is a tool for you to use in order to make more of it so you can do the things you really want to do. Go sit on a beach, drink a coconut mai tai, and I don't know, spread your eagles, however you want to take that in. But these are the things we have to think about, ladies and gentlemen, because how did you spend your money from October till now? Did you blow it? Did you invest it? Did you save it? Did you really think about the future that what if Joe Biden shuts down the government? What if more people lose their job? What if more people are furloughed? What if the other strain of coronavirus hit America from the UK? What if that occurs? What are you going to do? Do you have the money to suffice you and your family? Let's see here. Nolan Baptiste says, "Good evening." Well, good evening, Nolan. Wynn says, "A few years back in JBLM, that's Joint Base Lowe's McCord, someone looked into my bank account and told me I value fast food more than anything." Ladies and gentlemen, I have been a victim of this as well. A lot of us spend money on food, fast food, restaurant, because we don't want to cook. And again, when you come to this channel, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to speak real to you because it's hard for me to give you guys information if I'm lying my ass off. We spend a lot of money this year on DoorDash and Grubhub and Postmates, and not so much Uber Eats, but Uber Eats just bought Postmates not too long ago. Or was it 3 years ago? I forgot. But they own Uber Eats, and we should really be looking not only now. See, we have to worry about what's going on right now, but we also have to be looking towards the future, which is very, very imperative. Okay. If you're not looking to the future, you're a fool. Okay, because history has repeated itself. And again, if you are a melanated person, not only do you live in a system of white supremacy and in corporate America or governments or the military, there's discrimination everywhere. If you have melanated skin, anywhere you go where other populations, other ethnics, other races outnumber you, you will automatically be stereotyped. You will automatically be stereotyped just because you think you have a friend that smiles in your face every day, that tells you you're cool, tells you you're different, tells you you're one of the good ones, does not mean they don't have any biases. Because quite frankly, there's a lot of us that have biases towards other people, but we're quite different. Because and I say this a lot, melanated people are some of the nicest people on earth, right? But what occurs is that we don't expect white supremacists to act terrorist acts on us. And we need to be prepared for that. Because at any day, Shaniqua is on her job and Bill doesn't like the way Shaniqua did her hair, he can let Shaniqua go. Because some of these jobs are now saying in the contracts that they can fire you without cause. That they can fire you without cause. So this is why finance is very important to the black community. And a lot of us spit these, five token slang and verbiage out there. Oh, we got 1.2 trillion spending power. Okay, but where's your spending power going? It's going to the Asians. Black women is going to the Asians with your fake hair, your fake nails, your fake lashes. Are you supporting black-owned beauty supply stores? Are you doing that? It's going to Gucci and Fendi and Burberry and all these other Italian name brands that don't give 2 cents about melanated people. But soon as a black-owned business make clothing, we want to downplay it because the media or the entertainment or the entertainers have not put a price tag on it. I remember when Bathe and Ape came out, $400 for a pair of jeans. I was like, aren't Lee's, not Levi's, aren't Lee's the same material that they made out of Babe and Apes? They just put a little monkey on it or colorful this and colorful that. Remember all the Bathe and Ape shoes? And then Bathe and Ape was in 2 years and out 2 years. It was done, you know? So now they talking about, I remember Yeezys came out, $900 for a pair of tennis shoes. They more important. I'm like, people are walking around in $900 tennis shoes, not all leather shoes, not all leather shoes with a gold trim, like real 14, 18, whatever karat gold. But people are spending this much money on materialistic things. And I say, hey, listen, do you have any real gold? Do you have gold? I have gold in my safe. Do you have silver? I have silver in my safe. Because at the end of the day, what's paper? If anyone has a dollar bill or any sort of bill on them, $10, $20 bill, $100 bill, on your money, which is not really money, it's a note. It's a note. It says note on it. If you look up note is a tender. It's like a promissory thing. It's kind of like an IOU. The government is saying that this note is good to pay off debt, meaning that when you go and try to acquire a property or something like that, that is good to actually purchase something. All right, we're looking good. But we're using that note to acquire some sort of materialistic thing. But real tangible money that's not paper, what is the currency based off of? Well, it used to be based off gold, right? But it's no longer based off gold. It's based off debt. This is called a fiat system. And this is why I stress to people to save your money. Because if you don't save your money, the government is going to do what they've always been doing. This corporation is going to do what it's always been doing. Keep the American people in debt. So you always owe them money, right? And if you don't understand that, then I hope that you will take heed to some of the information I give on this channel, because I think if you're not going to buy gold, which is probably what, 15 to 18 per ounce, you should at least be buying silver, because silver can actually be transferred down. Excuse me a second, guys. Can be transferred down to your family members, right? Or your kids as an inheritance. And it's not easy, it's not easily, oh, let me get out of here, it's being loud. It's not easily tracked by the government. But if the economy falls, okay, if the economy falls, then you will have tangible money. You will have tangible money that you can actually use in any system around the world. In any system around the world. So this is imperative that you guys understand this information, that you guys continue to invest, but also every now and again buy, this is loud, let me go back out in the garage, buy actual money. Let's see here. Buy actual money, because that's going to suffice you in a hard time. And I give this kind of example that I had a guy who cut my grass during the summer named Chris. He actually lives in the neighborhood, white guy. He only had a business of selling sports equipment, and he sold the business because people wasn't buying sports equipment because everything was shut down. So he sold his business, started cutting grass in the neighborhood. And first it was him and his son. The next, he had 3 more people. He started really making some good money. And I say, now I would give him $100 a month. You know, it's $25 to cut my grass. So we cut it, trim it, and blow it, right? Basic stuff. At this time, new house, I didn't have a lawnmower. I'm like, hey, get a shed, you know. But anyway, I said, hey man, would you take gold? He said, yeah, I'll take gold. And I'm like, I'm serious. He's like, yes, I'm serious. I'm not saying that a lot of our people are uneducated about precious metals and their worth, but it's always like the Mzungus, aka white people. Mzungu is a Swahili word for white people. Um, they always have a. It always seems to be like they're more informed about finances uh, on different levels than black people. It's like black people. This is what I learned about money when I was growing up. Hey man, you know you need a job so you can pay your rent and pay for food. Okay. What about saving it? Well, you know, you got to put a little to the side too. But growing up, I never really heard about investments. I never really heard about option trading. I never heard about what's the other one? Precious metals. I never heard about futures trading. I never heard about forex trading. There's all these different ways about making money. I never heard about real estate investing or REIT, real estate investment trust. I never heard about how you can build a trust and actually make money off a trust. I didn't know that you could actually use your 401k to buy rental property. Did you guys know that? You can use your 401k to buy rental property. That's another video for another time. But ladies and gentlemen, I've been here over an hour. I thank you guys for staying with me this long. I didn't really expect to stay on this long, but there was so many, things that go through my mind. I'm gonna read some of your notes here. I don't want to feel like I'm ignoring anybody. Let's see. Mogita says they're making a killing. Wynn says they hurt my feelings. What I learned is what you spend your money on is what you value. Essentially, I guess I value food. Terrell Brimbree says 100. He says preach. Degener says hit the like button. Well, thank you, Degener. I appreciate that. Fiat money, yeah. Fiat money is a system of debt. Nixon came out with the fiat system in 1970. He has changed the world. So all of us are living in debt, but the ones who are in the know, they don't live in debt. They live in profit. They are more informed, which is why these channels are so important. Well, thank you. I appreciate them. I'll get it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Financial Literacy 101. I thank you guys for joining me today. Don't forget tomorrow morning, Central Standard Time. That's Central Standard Time. I'm gonna give you a stock review. I do this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And on Tuesday and Thursday, I give you regular financial information. But Monday, Wednesday, and Friday between 8:30 and 9:30 Central, I will give you a stock review. Okay. So for you guys who are interested in Plug Power, Neo, Bitcoin, I have plenty of those reviews already on my channel. So go check those out. But for you guys who are looking for new stocks that roughly under $50, you should really join my morning segments in order to get that stock information. So you can start investing little by little because I always encourage people to do what? DCA, dollar cost averaging. It's the amount of money that be reoccurring so you continue to buy that particular asset over time. When the asset goes down, you buy more. When the asset goes up, you buy less. But the point here is you continue to buy and you continue to invest. You guys have a great evening. I'm out.